Greetings, brothers and sisters. Shalom. Assalamu alaikum. It's wonderful to be back with you on Points of Light Radio and fellowshipping with you as well as my guests. And in today's segment, I will be shedding some more light on the ancient mystic order of Samaritans. Now, if you recall, in my May 30th segment of Points of Light Radio, I fellowshipped with our friend Jamie James. He was the past Supreme Monarchos of the Ancient Mystic Order of Samaritans, USA. Now, to give you some background, the Ancient Mystic Order of Samaritans is an appendant body of the Grand United Order of Oddfellows. And if you recall, I covered them as well in a previous segment. Actually, two previous segments, I've covered the Independent Order of Oddfellows as well as the Grand United Order of Oddfellows. Now, if you recall as well, I told you that the Ancient Mystic Order of Samaritans meet in lodges known as Sanctorums. Ancient Mystic Order of Samaritans has existed in a variety of forms and under multiple names. It was first founded in 1876 as the Order of Humility, and over time, the Order of Humility was amalgamated with other appendant Oddfellow bodies to form the Ancient Mystic Order of Samaritans in 1925. And my guest for this segment of Points of Light Radio is Wilbert Lemuel. Mr. Lemuel is the Vice Grand Monarch of the Mirza Sanctorum number 253 in Hammonton, New Jersey. So, let's let him shed some light on the Ancient Mystic Order of Samaritans. But, are you ready? Are you still searching for knowledge? Are you still searching for the light? Then just trim your lamp and follow me. After this,
ladies and gentlemen, seekers of light and secret knowledge wherever you may be, you are listening to Points of Light Radio, the podcast dedicated to taking you past the apron and behind the closed doors of lodges everywhere. And here is your host, Stan Miller.
Wilbert Lemuel.
Hey, how are you?
Welcome to Points of Light Radio.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Yes, you are the Vice Grand Monarch of the Mirza Sanctorum number 253 in Hammond, New Jersey. Why don't you tell our listeners and viewers about yourself?
Well, as you stated, my name is Will, last name Lemuel. I'm the current Vice Grand Monarch of Mirza Sanctorum number 253. We actually meet in Roebling, New Jersey. Most of us belong to the lodge in Hammonton, New Jersey, though. So, you know, we kind of see each other either which way we go. But I'm active with the Oddfellows, Independent Order of Oddfellows, where I'm a member at French Lodge in Richwood, New Jersey. I'm also a charter member of Winslow Hammonton Lodge number 40, which meets in Hammonton, and that's now my home lodge, but I maintain a membership at French Lodge as well. Also a member of the Encampment, Patriarchs Militant, and also a member of the Grand United Order of Oddfellows.
Okay. How long have you been an Oddfellow, by the way?
Oh, for a very, very long time. I was initiated October 19th, 2019, so pretty much all my life, you know.
Okay, and how long have you been a member of the of AMOS here? Sorry.
Okay. AMOS, I've been a member since our Sanctorum was actually instituted, which was October of 2020.
Okay. And how long did it take you to reach the Vice Grand Monarch position?
Well, when we were instituted, my original position was registrar, which is the equivalent of a secretary of a lodge. Position until recent elections. So I served from 20 until 2022 when we did the election. Normally, what would happen, I guess, similar to a lot of organizations that have a lodge structure, is that you kind of work your way through the chairs, as they say. So depending where you start, it could, depending where you start, it could take maybe 2 or 3 years to get to that position. Like, just assuming you start at an appointed position, and then get to let's say you start with an appointed position, then you start with 2 appointed positions. Let's say you're at the guarding the door, and then you move to a different position, and then you become I don't know, let's say want to be treasurer for some reason, or the collector or banker, and then you can go to the vice grand monarch position. So I guess it all depends. Being that we were new, it didn't take me as long, and plus me serving as the registrar in the beginning, it's like I kind of had some experience with how the Sanctorum was running and the ideas we had as far as what we wanted to do as a Sanctorum. And I got the opportunity to learn from members from other Sanctorums who are established and had been around the block a few times, so to speak. So they were able to guide and direct me as a secretary. And if you know anything about lodge structured organizations, or pretty much any organization, you learn a lot in that position. So it didn't take me as long as maybe it could have possibly taken had I gone through the chairs, I guess, so to speak.
Well, what exactly did the Ancient Mystic Order of Samaritans do?
Okay, well, not to repeat too much of what past Grand Monarchos Jamie Wagner said, because I know that you've interviewed him, but just to keep it short, the Ancient Mystic Order of Samaritans is what we call the playground for Odd Fellows. It's really the place where you have fun, because I think of Odd Fellowship as a one-stop shop as far as fraternalism. And there are a few other organizations designed us in a similar fashion. I guess most notably the Masons, they have the Shrine, but AMOS is distinctly different and very unique history, which I won't get into details too much about the history, but AMOS is pretty much the place where you go, where after all of the work and the service of the lodge is done, is where you go to let your hair down and have fun, but really form closer social bonds with the men that you're working and serving with in the community at the lodge level. So you join AMOS to get to know each other better on a more of a social level. And I would also say on a even more personal level, because if you're ever with someone socially, you're able to let your guard down, relax more. It's not so formal. So you have the opportunity to open up more. So, you get to know the brothers in your lodge, in my opinion, and other lodges, because the Sanctorum usually is composed of members from surrounding lodges in the area. You get to know them a lot better on a personal level and a social level. So it builds a stronger bond. It strengthens, the friendship length of Odd Fellowship, in my opinion, just through the fun and the fellowship that you're having and the conversations that come with that. So in a nutshell, that's what AMOS is to me.
Okay. Now tell us about Sanctorum number 253. What's the makeup of it? Young, old?
Well, Mirza Sanctorum. Our makeup is pretty diverse, I'd say. It's a blend where our youngest member is in his mid-20s, and our oldest member, I don't want to be wrong and put more years on him than he has, but I know that he's older than 60. So we have a range between mid-20s to 60 and above, I'd say. So, but right at the median, I would say most of us are in our late 30s, 40 range. So for Oddfellow, we're pretty considered relatively young. So
Yeah,
as
and you
far as
got that,
Oddfellow
and you
goes.
got that good diverse, that good mixture of young and old. You don't want a lodge that's too old. You don't want them too young. It's good.
Exactly, exactly.
So, out of all your time in the Grand United Order of Oddfellows, what would you say is your best memory of it, or what are you most proud of, shall we say, of all your time there?
Well, I haven't been a member of the Grand United Order of Odd Fellows too long. Most of my time has been in the Independent Order. So, I mean, I could definitely speak on the Grand United experience. And I guess Independent, as a member of the Independent Order of Odd Fellows, I joined AMOS. Even though, as past Grand Monarchos, Jamie Wagner mentioned, AMOS is open to all Odd Fellow branches. So we do have Grand United Brothers, etc. But I would say my best experience so far in the Grand United Order of Odd is definitely the history and the passion that the members have for the order. It's in the United States much smaller than the Independent Order of Odd Fellows, which of course has been an ebb and flow as far as decline because of older membership, but definitely an uptick of younger members who are joining the Independent Order. And we're slowly seeing the same thing in the Grand United Order of Odd Fellows as well. So you see the passion for the order with the leadership, even though they are seasoned, they're very enthusiastic and very helpful towards the younger generation who are finding interest in the history and the opportunity and potential for the order to have an impact in the community at a grander scale as it has in the past. So that's my experience with Grand United so far. As far as independent, I think my greatest experience has been the fellowship and the bond of members. It's very unique and very different than any other organization that I'm in. And I'm a fraternalist, which I guess means that the organizations became a thing where I just fell down the rabbit hole and joined many. But as far as the Independent Order of Oddfellows, the way we really emphasize our purpose, our principles of friendship, love, and truth is definitely a really solid network. So even though we may not be as large as we once were, when you meet an odd fellow, it's such a special thing. And you can feel it, when you meet an odd fellow, because I like to travel and I've usually try to make a point to see if there are lodges there. And it's just, it's special in a way because there are not as many odd fellow lodges left as there once were, or maybe not as large as maybe the Elks or the Masons. And, so not saying that's not special. I enjoy meeting fellow Masons and Elks as well, but it's something very just, even though we're not as large a size as we once were in many areas, no matter where I've traveled, it's always been such a warm welcome and such an excitement to see another odd fellow. So I think that's a good experience, that and the bond I've formed with my lodge brothers and my fellow sheiks and Samaritans in AMOS.
And what do you think that not just the ancient mystic order of Samaritans, but the Odd Fellows themselves, what do you think it can offer those who are thinking of joining or those who are just looking for something to join?
Well, I think definitely opportunity. I would say responsibility and definitely a sense of community. And what I mean by that is just the way the organization is structured, the potential for growth and the need for growth and the growth that's happening in the order. There's so much opportunity to learn in a way that you may not be able to do in other organizations that are already established or not established, but where they have a pretty strong presence and they're not really opening new lodges. And where Oddfellows, you'll find a lot of younger members or people are actually opening or reopening lodges. That's a journey you don't get to experience a lot in other organizations, to build something from the ground up and kind of take a look at the history and the structure and shape the lodge's culture to fit the needs of the modern times. Because, like any organization or even organization, company, fraternal, doesn't matter. When you have a lot of older people, there's kind of this very narrow lens sometimes in how to serve the community or how to approach things. And people become set in their routines and times have changed. So to be able to be of the times, or at least have the understanding of progress and build a lodge from of a classic fraternity. It's an opportunity to really learn and experience in such a way that you would not if you join an organization that's pretty established in the sense that they have several lodges, and it's, you don't have to worry about building that foundation. And just going through the chairs is always the opportunity for leadership development, whether it's public speaking or administrative duties, if you have a desk position, or even if you're noble grand or vice grand of a lodge, or serving on a committee. Just opportunities, especially if you're from a jurisdiction like mine that's not as large, you have opportunities to serve Grand Lodge committees and to actually work your way to get to Grand Lodge, because we're not a very large jurisdiction. So, the opportunities there, the responsibility of, upholding what your obligations are to the community, to your well, and the community, just making sure we're doing what we're supposed to do as far as visiting the sick, relieving the stress, burying the dead, educating the orphanage, which is interesting because there's not many orphanages, but the way my lodge approach that is that we may serve the youth in a different way, that maybe they're not orphans per se, but maybe they're growing up in a group home and they need help with that transition from group home life to adulthood, and providing those resources or supporting organizations that do. So I think it offers that connection you can only get from being in a fraternal organization, in a social media group, which are cool, but something quite different to build with other people face to face.
Well, it sounds interesting, and I can see you're enjoying it there. And I thank you for your time tonight, Mr. Lemuel.
Yeah, absolutely.
Have yourself a good day.
Yeah, you too.
Wilbert Lemuel, brothers and sisters. I loved how he talked about being mentored and guided in his journey through the chairs of the Ancient Mystic Order of Samaritans. And I think that's very important in any organization, but these fraternal organizations, I think sometimes it's part of what's forgotten in them is the importance of mentorship and being, not just giving someone a job to do and then expecting them to just run with it. You have to kind of mentor them a little bit, provide them the mentorship, so they can move forward in that job. And I liked how he talked about the social aspect of the Ancient Mystic Order of Samaritans, brethren getting to know each other better on a social level, once they get beyond an Oddfellows Lodge. And I think that's a very interesting aspect of it, actually. And I do feel it's very interesting, learning and having our guests shed light on these, organizations such as the, Ancient Mystic Order of Samaritans. I also want to apologize, though, for the video quality there. I hope that wasn't on my end, but I'm afraid we'll have to part here. But before I go, I want to remind you that this podcast is available on both YouTube and Spreaker. Please share, like, and subscribe when viewing Points of Light Radio on YouTube. I also welcome your comments and input. You can follow Points of Light Radio on my Facebook page at facebook.com/Points of Light Radio. My Twitter handle is at PO Light Radio. You can see the link to my Spotify channel, as well as my Points of Light Radio store. But brothers and sisters, I'm sorry to part with you, but until we meet again, just step into the light.